My first cake as Shiwa The Baker was a huge disaster.
Really?
It was. Have you ever seen that meme? What I ordered, what I
versus what I got.
versus what I got. That was.
Okay, I think the very first question, even though we're not going to start going directly into the introduction, you are a baker, and then the baking industry is currently estimated at 400 billion, and you are currently at the top tier of the Namibian baking industry. What does it take to be the best, or to give the best that you do?
Well, it's been 6 years, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
So I've been doing Shiwa The Baker since 2018, and I think the one thing that I can accredit my success to is sheer hard work, resilience, and talent from education, like constantly capacitating myself, and experience. Everything that I've gone through to build this brand is what has made me the success story that I am today.
Wow, interesting to hear that. So, take us back to your very first cake. So when did you realize that you had a skill for baking?
So Shiwa The Baker, or my career as a baker, didn't start out as me being Shiwa The Baker.
Okay.
So I was part of a business partnership which didn't go too well and which failed. We had to close the business. Once that happened, then I went into establishing Shiwa The Baker. My first cake as Shiwa The Baker was a huge disaster.
Really?
It was. So you see, in the previous business partnership that I was involved in, I was the baker and my partner was the cake decorator. So when I started Shiwa The Baker, I didn't know how to decorate the cake at all. So, and I started off taking orders, not having, capacitated myself well enough to be providing those quality cakes those beautiful creations that you now see. They tasted amazing, but the look was completely off. So I think I took 1 or 2 orders and then I decided, no, I can't do this anymore because I was disappointing clients. Have you ever seen that meme? What I ordered,
versus what I got.
Versus what I got. That was. So I then decided to then venture into or to focus more on the baking training. Whilst I was honing my skill and capacitating myself with those cake decorating skills that I needed to create those beautiful creations that you now see.
Okay, but your very first cake when you started Shiwa The Baker, was it a cake that was ordered, or was it just something that you're trying out, or were you I'm starting a baking business?
No, it was a cake that was ordered because I had already built a reputation from the previous bakery. So I had pre-existing clients. So it was just, reintroducing myself now as Shiwa The Baker. Okay. So, it took me, something that would now take me about an hour to complete. It took me, I think, half a day to complete. So, but eventually, with time, I've refined the craft, I've refined my skill, and my cakes are now amazing.
All time. So you baked for our late president, Dr. Hage Gabor.
Yeah.
So for his 80th birthday. So what did that mean to you, and how did it come about?
So I had the privilege of baking for him, I think, for four years prior to his passing. Yeah. I consider that sort of the highest honor of my entrepreneurial journey. Who would have thought when I started Shiwa The Baker, I never thought I'm going to be able to bake for the president. I'm going to have that privilege or that honor to be called to serve at that level.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing experience. It was always very nerve-wracking. I mean, obviously, all the logistics that go behind this creation. Everybody just sees this creation on social media.
Just see the pictures.
You see the pictures, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes in terms of logistics and in terms of the planning, from sketching it to ensuring that the flavor is perfect, that the delivery is perfect, maintaining that consistency throughout the years. I mean, because from the first day he tasted my cake to the last time he tasted my cake, there was a consistency of excellence within it. So maintaining that standard, the pressure was always on. But it was an amazing experience, and it's something that I will carry with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, interesting. So okay, your Shiwa The Baker, it's a big brand currently in Namibia, and like your bakery is known for its unique and the premium delights of it. So how do you approach product development to be able to stand out the way you are today?
So how do you call it? Our zone of genius is our moist soft cake. So again, it's just consistency. We've worked so hard to refine our recipe, so we know exactly what it takes to get that moist crumb, that delicious moist crumb. And in terms of innovation and creativity, so believe it or not, when I started Shiwa The Baker, I never thought I had a creative bone in my body. But I later realized that it's that creativity within me that enabled me to craft the brand and to maintain it. So innovation and creativity is what actually drives the industry, the cake industry, because each creation has its own, it's all bespoke. There's no one cake that I've done that is an exact replica of the other. I mean, that's also because everybody has their own different tastes. Everybody has a different theme. So, and when clients come to me, people always ask me, give me a price list. And I say, okay, look, I can tell you that the starting price of my cake is this much, but I can't really tell you the end price until you have given me a clear picture of exactly what it is you want, in terms of the flavor, in terms of the size of the cake, in terms of how complex the design is. So, I mean, that's actually what drives the industry, just that innovation and that creativity.
I see. So, you said there's no business without challenges. So, what are some of the challenges that you experience with Shiwa The Baker, who is an entrepreneur as well?
Man, first of all, there aren't enough hours in a day. Not at all. So I'm employed full time. So in my full time capacity, I am an executive support specialist, and I then run a business, which is now Shiwa The Baker, and then I'm also pursuing studies. So I'm pursuing a postgraduate qualification in business management. So there aren't enough hours in a day to just accomplish everything that you want to do. I was explaining to you earlier that, I just started a new job. So even within the business, I haven't done much. I mean, I had plans at the beginning of the year, and then life happens. I haven't really done much in terms of, business development, in terms of brand visibility. I think this is one of the first interviews that I'm doing this year. But the clients are still there. And that actually speaks to the strength of the brand. I think we've built over the past 6-7 years, we've built a very, very strong brand. I invested a lot in the structures of the brand. So we have withstood, COVID. We are currently withstanding this period of time in my life where there's just so much that's happening. where the brand in the background is sort of stagnant. So I can't even, I'm sure somewhere in the interview you're going to ask me, what are your future plans? I have nothing for you. And I also realized, at first it used to overwhelm me, the fact that I don't know what's next. You have this plan and then life happens and I used to get very depressed because I constantly, my brand strategist constantly asks me, Shiwa, what's next? Everybody's always waiting for next level. And right now I'm just at a place where I don't know what's next. And it's okay. Yeah. It's okay to just, I can't say I'm floating, but it's okay to just be in a space of, it's a bit dangerous to be in a space of the unknown, but it's okay. Yeah. And that spark, that creative spark in me it will be reignited again. Yeah. So right now that's a big challenge. Another challenge that I find in the industry is the lack of creativity and innovation. As I said at the beginning, that's a driver. It's what drives our industry. And then you find that you get certain bakers who literally replicate your entire brand. So copy and paste, whether it's from your logo to your creations to the captions of your pictures when you post them on social media. I don't really brand my photos with a watermark, so you'll get somebody who's literally posting your creations as your pictures, like your cakes. Yes. So that is something that's very, very frustrating. It's something that's not really spoken about most of the time. I hardly speak on it because, fear of being seen as a bully within the industry. Yeah. But it's very, very frustrating when you have people in the space who do not respect other people's creativity, you don't respect the craft. And it's disheartening because I have invested so much in the brand, in building the brand. And aside from that, it's just something that it's tearing the entire industry down. It's very discourteous. That's also one of the challenges that I find.
And I think if you now maybe speak about it, people will think you are gatekeeping.
Also, yeah. And I'm the one person. In fact, many people always ask me, how is it that I give my recipes away just willingly? I'm the one person who doesn't gatekeep. If you ask me, where did you get this? I will tell you. If you ask me to teach you how to bake, I will teach you. And that's also where the introduction to baking masterclasses came from. Because when I started in the industry, the bakers that I approached in the industry, they weren't willing to teach me how to bake. Some of them cited time constraints. The others just felt like, obviously you're training your competition. And I don't feel that way. I don't feel that there's enough sort of light to go around. Your clients are not my clients. I can teach you how to bake. I don't think you'll ever be able to bake exactly like me. Even my bakers that are in my kitchen, they don't bake exactly like me, but they bake very delicious cakes. So your clients are your clients. My clients are my clients. Your market is your market. My market is my market. And so I don't feel that there's any harm that I do to myself by lighting somebody else's candle. So I don't mind helping you write that business card, but I really don't believe that imitation is the biggest form of flattery, as the saying goes. I'm really about individuality. I'm an advocate for empowerment, but at the same time, you need to put in that work.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think that is one of the challenges that we currently, have. Not like a challenge, but thinking by teaching somebody what you do, that person will take your clients away from you.
Never that.
And that's what most of us actually think.
Never that. There are enough clients to go around. honestly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you were just talking about depression now, or like the stagnation within life and all that. So I just wanted to you also mentioned that you also have bakers that in your kitchen, or people that actually work for you. So how do you motivate like your employees to, just to continue to do what they do and with the love?
okay, so baking is a labor of love. So the first thing, you can never bake if you are feeling, if you don't feel well, if you're, whether it's spiritually, emotionally, that negative energy will translate in the cake, in the product that you bake. So I always encourage my bakers to, I try to keep them in high spirits. Man, this is either motivating them with salary increments, with man, just doing activities within the kitchen that uplifts their spirits. But more than money as a motivator, I think ours is more than just. It's not all about the money. I mean, even for them. So what I've done is I've tried to make it so that the business, they actually take ownership of the business. So when we have a client that's happy, what we're doing is we're more than just selling, popping a cake out of the oven. What we're doing is selling an experience. So that smile that you see on the client's face when they see your creation, or when they taste your cake, or when they, whenever clients give me feedback, I always like to forward it to my bakers and I say, well done, great job. And that's actually what keeps them going, because you're always trying to do better than your last job. You're only as good as your last cake. So if we have a client that's disappointed, I mean, obviously, every day is not a good day. You have one or two bad days in the kitchen. We always try to make up for it, but we always try to do better in our next day. So I just try to keep them in high spirits. They know the impact that their negative energy has on the cake, and on the impact that a bad review has on the business, because they take the business as their own. So yeah.
I see. And I think I also remembered we once said that you have a sofa in your
Yes.
office.
So right in front of the kitchen, the actual physical kitchen, it opens into a reception area, and there's a sofa there. So every time, if randomly, I mean, not even, like I said, we're all human. So sometimes we have bad days. So you will hear one of them either slamming a cupboard or throwing a pot or a pan, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? So you can actually just see that within their interactions, not necessarily human interactions, but with the pans or with the ornaments within the kitchen, or the instruments in the kitchen, that they're not really happy with it. So I'll tell them, okay, you know what, time out. Do you want to have do you want to talk about it? Is it something that I've done? Perhaps there's something going on in your life. Maybe just take some time, sit on the sofa, and then cleanse yourself, and then when you have a better energy, you can come again. Because it defeats the purpose, you being physically in the kitchen and not being mentally and emotionally and spiritually there. So they check themselves really quickly.
Yeah, and okay, coming back to the cakes now, like what are some of the challenging cakes that you baked, that you ever baked?
Man, anything that need to go out of the normal. I mean, our standard cakes are, the normal sponge cakes. With sugar, with milk, with all the ingredients fully there. And then once in a while, like now I'm sitting with an order where somebody asked me to bake an egg-free cake. So now I have to go and do so. I've done it before, but it's something that I don't do it often. So it's something that every time you try it, it's something new. So the experimental baking for me, either having to bake like a diabetic cake, a cake for a diabetic person, sorry, or like now, eggless cake, a cake for somebody who is lactose intolerant. Finding all those ingredients, first of all, it's challenging. Finding them at at a good price is also challenging, because now obviously these are specialty bakes, so the price will have to go up. The extra time that I have to spend now in my kitchen making sure that all these cakes come out looking perfect, it takes a lot of my time also. So that's also going to cost you a bit more. So that's also just a bit of a challenge, just baking those specialty cakes. It's possible, it's doable, but it's not easy.
But do you have like a cake that you once like asked to bake, like it gave you tough time that you can like remember?
The most challenging cakes are always the cakes that are going to the steakhouse.
Yeah.
For me, those are the most challenging cakes. Not because, I mean, first of all, the size of the cakes, particularly the ones that we bake for the country, for the Independence Day celebrations, these are huge cakes. I think we baked one, the biggest we baked is the size of the door. Yeah. So I think that's 2 meters by 1, if I'm not mistaken. So that has actually been, that has been the most challenging cake that I've had to do. Yeah, baking a cake of that magnitude, making sure, again, there must be consistency within the flavor, within the look and feel of the cake, within the texture. You're baking for so many people. We vary all our clients, but these are also clients that are very high level. So yes, the pressure has been hectic when trying to craft those things.
Wow. So Shiwa The Baker now is known, as I said, is known for the premium delight. So what can you tell us about some of your signature creations and like what sets them apart from the other bakers? Because you are not the only baker in Namibia, but people prefer your cake or you are like
Man, all our creations are special. Every single one of them, and every single one of them is unique. We value all our clients, and as such, we value all the orders equally. What sets us apart is just that we are not. Ours is more than just popping a cake out of the oven. It's baking to us is really a labor of love. For us, it's about creating an experience for our clients. It's about the feeling that our cakes evoke in them. So the fact that they're so happy when they see a box of cupcakes. There's been so many times where I've had to make personal deliveries, and when they see that box of cupcakes, they almost tear up. And I've never really, at first, I never quite understood. I mean, for me, it's just a box. A box of cupcakes. But I later realized that it's not just a box of cupcakes. It's a Shiwa. They actually say to you, they're like, no, this is a Shiwa The Baker box of cupcakes. Just that feeling that the brand evokes in our client, that excitement, that love, man. It's. I can clearly say what sets us apart is just the experience that we create when people eat our cake, when they see our cake.
I see. And because I actually also read somewhere that people don't actually buy service or they don't buy the products, but they buy the story, they buy the experience.
I was complaining to my brand strategist the other day about how it is that whenever I post a cake, I'll get 50, 100 likes. But if I just post an experience that I've had in creating a cake, or an experience that I've had within my day, revolving around my baking career, the post goes viral. So I've learned. I mean, I'm not that much of a social media person. I'm more of an introvert, but I realized that with this industry, I think with any business, people don't. It's not necessarily about buying the product, because there are hundreds of cakes, there are hundreds of bakers, but it's they want to know the story behind the person. And I'm somebody who's been very honest, and I'm somebody who's very authentic about my journey. I don't leave any story out. Like, I'll give it to you straight. Also, the life of an entrepreneur is this is glorified as this intoxicating blend of like freedom and fame and flexibility and fortune. And I'm here to say no. Like there's a dark side to entrepreneurship that people don't talk about. I mean, it's a very lonely journey. You know, you sit there, sometimes you don't know how you're gonna pay your employees, you don't know how you're gonna make your rent. I'm sitting in a space right now where I'm just stagnant in my entrepreneurial journey, and I wake up every day and I'm supposed to be promoting a brand. I'm supposed to be, all hyped up on social media and telling people how amazing my product is and, the next step to my journey and how amazing this entire journey is. And all I want to do is I want to close my doors. I think yesterday I actually had a moment when I thought, but why don't I just close? Yeah, it happens. You get days like that. But it's bouncing back from those days. It's from those dark feelings, from that dark place. It's surrounding yourself with like-minded people that actually that just want to see your ideas come to life, that share the same passion that you do for your brand, to see your ideas come to life. So there are people that you speak to, they're like, but you're Shiwa The Baker, you can't close.
Exactly, that's very true. That's actually very true.
Now, I'm somebody who's very, very authentic about my entrepreneurial journey, and I think that's also why many people resonate with my brand, because they see the human behind the cake, they see the human behind the brand. It's not just that beautiful face with the cup holding the cupcake. No, there are lots of struggles that we have to overcome as entrepreneurs to give you that cake. That gives you that excitement, that gives you that joy. But aside from the dark side of entrepreneurship, I won't lie, it's a very rewarding experience. I'm so blessed to be where I am. I'm so blessed to have this brand. Not once in my life did I ever think that the brand would blow up as it did. But I mean, I can't say it's surprising per se, because we really put in the work. We really worked for it. So
and I think that's actually one of the sides, like we are just glorifying Shiwa The Baker, and we are seeing the impact that you are doing, but then we forget that you are also human and you have emotions and you have problems, you have a life that you are living.
The same as you, the same struggles that you have. I have the same struggles.
Exactly, that's very true. And look, let's talk about the finance in business. Like, what is your profit margin? Like, there's something that we don't really talk about, or we're kind of scared to ask entrepreneurs.
Look, let me tell you this: being in the baking industry, it's a lucrative industry. Even when I started, I remember when I started this business. I mean, initially it was to make a profit. I mean, it's always to make a profit, but initially it was, I need to make money. And the way I started was I was ordering a cake for a friend of mine, and it was 2 weeks to her birthday, and every baker that I asked to take on my order was fully booked. So the one baker who eventually agreed to take on the order, I think at the time they priced me at like $900, million dollars, for a cake. And imagine that's like 6-7 years ago. So I found it to be extremely expensive. I never thought cakes costed that kind of money. And whilst the baker was taking my order, we actually had a conversation. And I tried to understand. I'm like, look, and then it's 2 weeks late time. Why is it that bakers are fully booked? And he said there's a demand for the product. So I thought, okay, you know what? This is where I need to go to win. This is the industry that I need to venture into. So it's a lucrative industry. It's very capital intensive, because your equipment that you use is not cheap. Your labor is not cheap. Your expertise. I mean, you need to capacitate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Try, enrolling for a baking class. Culinary school is very expensive. So, it's, you really need to invest a lot of money into your business. And also for us, it wasn't just about building a business, it was about crafting a brand. So aside from the structures that I had to put in place to build the actual business, I had to employ additional capital in the business to craft the brand. And that took time, it took finances, it took people that costed a lot of money. But it was all worth it. So I can say that it's a very lucrative industry. You've done right. We have managed to, we have become trailblazers. We are industry leaders. Our industry recognizes our authority. The right people always seek us out, and opportunities always find us. So it's lucrative, but you need to put in the work.
Yeah, I see. So what would you say, like maybe like in a maximum, or like how much did you like maybe make in the month since you started? Maybe just giving us an example, an estimate as well, maybe even like per year or per month.
Look, we bake on average in our kitchen. We push at least 2 to 3 cakes a day. A cake costs anything between 800. Well, we charge anything between $800 Namibian upwards for a cake. On weekends, we push out about 10 to 15 cakes. So you can do the math.
Okay. So you previously you spoke about the master classes. So like what inspired for you to start the master classes, and what do participants get from the master classes as well that you?
So the introduction to baking master classes were inspired by my struggle in finding somebody to teach me how to bake. As I previously mentioned, that when I started in the industry, nobody wanted to teach me how to bake. So I vowed that when I became a master of the craft, then I would share my knowledge boundlessly. And that's actually what gave birth to these classes. So these are classes that we host countrywide. They are hosted in a friendly, relaxed teaching style, which encompasses theory and curated demonstration, all to ensure like a true learning experience. So what we've done with these master classes is that we found a way to capacitate, to transfer knowledge within a short period of time, right at your doorstep and at a competitive price. So we spend about 4 hours in the kitchen. Once I give you my recipe, I give you the technique, I give you the tools that you need, the physical tools that you need, literally a replica of the tools that I use in my kitchen. And I send you off. And based off the class, the techniques that I've taught you in that class, you should be able to then start your own business from there. But I always keep my doors open. So once you have registered for one of my classes, you're more than welcome to come back and upskill. So I always say, you know what, come through on a Saturday, come through on a weekend, which is our busiest time. The ladies that are in my kitchen haven't had any formal baking training. They've literally learned how to bake by watching me, by experiencing me, by helping me in the kitchen, So I always say that's the best way to learn, but watch and learn. Get involved. Even if it means you coming through to just wash the dishes, you still get a front row seat and master at this craft. So my kitchen is always welcome. My door is always welcome for those that have signed up for my masterclass to come through and learn some more.
That's interesting. Like, would you have like maybe some people, like especially the participant that takes part in the masterclass, that will come back and say, "Yeah, I have started this business, or I'm working on this, and it's because of your classes or your master classes."
So since we started these baking masterclasses in 2018, we've trained over 500 people, particularly women, mainly women, how to bake, and many of those have actually gone on to start like flourishing baking enterprises, and this is all around the country. So whenever, if somebody calls me, this morning I had somebody looking for a cake in Zurich or a baker in Zurich, I can refer her to somebody that I've trained. There are times where I would need assistance. I would go to a specific town to bake a cake or for an event, and I would also need assistance in those towns. I call on the people that I've trained because I'm confident that they actually have the skills and the knowledge to assist me. So yes, these people have gone on to start flourishing baking enterprises. So we've really, when we set out to build a brand of impact. And at the core of who we are at Shiwa The Baker is empowerment. So for us, I keep saying it's not just about popping the cake out of the oven. We want to empower you. I believe in collective power. I rise as you rise.
Yeah.
So it's not only this whole trade is not only focused on amassing my own wealth. It's also about empowering people, inspiring you to, start that business, start that entrepreneurial activity.
Off camera you're actually saying that people ask you and attack you and asking what you do for the community and all that. Would you say the masterclass is something that you are giving back to the community?
Of course. We've even had free masterclasses. For people who obviously couldn't, who don't have the capacity to pay for a masterclass. You just have to motivate well.
Yeah.
But no, I think the introduction to baking masterclasses is definitely my way of giving back to the community.
Okay, how do you stay now innovative in your baking approach, and if there are any current trends in the industry that you find particularly exciting?
Like I said, the space that I'm in right now, I'm not really inspired, but generally, you need to stay on top of the trends. Experimental baking, you need, constantly trying out new recipes. If somebody asks you to try a cake, to try out a recipe that you yourself are not well versed with, believe me, there are going to be a lot of flops. And ingredients are also expensive. Time is money.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had much time to go into my kitchen to do much experimental baking. But when I do have the time, I do experimental baking, try out different recipes. I read a lot. That's something that we don't do. There's no culture of reading. Baking is a science, so you constantly just have to read up on, new techniques. You need to understand the craft, intricately. You need to understand why you're baking with butter instead of baking with oil. Why you can't bake with margarine, why you need to bake with full cream milk instead of skimmed milk or low-fat milk. There's so many things that you have to consider. But you only get to learn through reading. And then obviously experimenting and experiencing all these ingredients and all these techniques within the kitchen. For me to develop the recipe that I currently put out right now, when I actually learned how to bake, this is not the recipe that I was given when I left that class. I had to refine this recipe, and I had to refine it. I could refine it because I read. I understood why I couldn't use this ingredient, why the cake was too sweet, or why it was too salty, or why it was too sour. How I could balance the flavor. It's all about educating yourself, capacitating yourself, constantly learning. Continuous learning is something that's very, very important. And that's how you remain on top of your game. And even when I'm not on top of my game mentally, like I am right now, because of the structures that are built in the brand, the clients are still coming, the orders are still going out, we're still getting amazing reviews for our cakes. So we've clearly done something right at the beginning.
Okay. So now, you are saying, if you are not, you are saying you're currently not on top of your game, and obviously comes time you think of trying to close your doors and all that. What do you think is that keeps you moving, keeps you just to keep on going and doing, seeing the light?
Remembering why I started. You always remember, why did I start? Why am I doing this? And also thinking about, this business is no longer just about you. It's bigger than you. There's so many people that have invested their time, their money, their energy, their prayers, their spirits, their everything in this brand. Whenever I talk about this brand, I don't like saying I, because I always say we. And when I'm doing interviews, they ask who's we, because it's sure. But there's so many people that are behind me and that are behind the brand. And thinking of the investment that gave me, thinking of the investment that I've made, to just give that up, I'd be doing them a disservice, or doing the brand a disservice. So also, like I said, having a strong support system really keeps you going. I have an amazing family, I have an amazing tribe, the best cheerleaders. My parents are my biggest prayer warriors. So even on days where you go home and you just feel like giving up, a word of encouragement from them, just keeps you going.
So, you are very vocal about building a legacy, especially Shiwa The Baker. What do you think is that important of you building a legacy, not just a business?
Look, it's bigger. The brand is bigger than just yourself. At the beginning, I could have said, let's just bake a cake, make our money. But no, it's not about that anymore. Aside from the fact that you're responsible for other people's livelihoods. I have a team of people in my kitchen that I'm responsible for. You want my goal is to build a brand that outlives even myself. So first of all, the way that I have started doing that is building capacity. My kitchen exists without, I play a very minimal role within my kitchen in terms of physically being in my kitchen. I have people that actually bake those cakes, and they make those amazing creations with my stamp on it. So for me, it's more of a quality control, and it's more on the business development side of things. That's where I am at now. But yes, building capacity so that my brand outlives myself, and just creating a lingering experience where that feeling that is ignited by you seeing my creation and you tasting my creation, that outlives me. You're happy, and even if I'm not there, you're still gonna order that cake because you're chasing that experience, you're chasing that excitement. So yes, building long-term sustainability and building a legacy brand is something that's very, very important to me. And
so, as an entrepreneur on the African continent, so what should you say are some of the specific cultures or business nuisance in Africa that will advise new entrepreneurs to actually venture into, particularly what to be mindful of?
So, I am a staunch advocate for Afro-capitalism, and this is the idea that the African private sector has the power to transform itself and create value within itself and for the long term. So, in a nutshell, it's all about empowerment. I would encourage fellow entrepreneurs to look beyond just venturing into a business for creating. It's about collective power. The business shouldn't just be about yourself. It should be about other people also.
Okay, so I'm sure there are aspiring entrepreneurs that are watching, and obviously people that are looking up to you, Shiwa The Baker, and your friends and all that. So what do you say now? What would you say are some of the unique ways to actually start a business from your experience?
Start with what you have and where you are. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Start with what you have and then where you are. I mean, people always think that it takes, you need to go out there, get this huge loan, you need to, start big. You don't need to start big. I mean, I remember building Shiwa The Baker. I think I registered the company mid-year, and it took me about 7 years to sort of start putting those structures like one by one, getting my email address, registering the actual business, doing market research. I started off small. People think Shiwa The Baker is this huge factory. That small kitchen, that small oven that I've been baking with, the same pots, the same pans that I've been using, the same instruments are still the same instruments that I'm using 7 years down the line. So start small, start with what you have and where you're at that place. You don't need to start big. You don't need, the business will grow. Yeah.
Even though you warned me about this question, but I still want to ask the question. Because Shiwa is there. Shiwa The Baker, Shiwa is there. So what did you see as some of the future plans for Shiwa The Baker? And are there any projects or any goals that you are excited about or that you can share actually with the audience?
So right now I've been appointed as a brand ambassador for Cake Flora. And Cake Flora is one of the leading manufacturers and distributors of cake, baking products within Southern Africa. It's a South African company. So I'm the brand ambassador for Namibia. So that's actually my focus right now, just getting their brand out there, creating brand awareness, showing the other bakers the amazing products that they have and what their products can do for your product. So that is the biggest project that I'm currently working on, just being their brand ambassador. In terms of Shiwa The Baker, I have nothing for you. We're in existence. We're going to keep pushing the brand. I will get out of this rut that I am in right now, where I'm not too inspired. Those creative juices will start flowing, and once they do, I'm sure you will see me.
But what would you say? What should you say? What can we do? Especially us that are inspired by your work and all that, and obviously other entrepreneurs also go through this space as well. What should you say? What can we do to actually make you feel better, or to just kind of give you that inspiration back? As people that are looking up to you, as people that are really inspired by your brand as well.
Find counsel. Go for therapy. That's something that we really don't see the value in. I think mental health is something that is very, very important. You can't do what you do if you're not mentally healthy. So I think invest in your mental health. Surround yourself with good people, with an amazing tribe. You need the entrepreneurial journey is something that's it's very lonely. So you need to surround yourself with people that can support you. You need a strong support system. I'm a believer in Christ, so I pray every day. But also just remember why you started. I think that's the most important thing. Remember why you started, and that is what's going to keep you going. So even when you feel like giving up, you're going to experience a lot of no's. To get to where I am, till today, I still experience a lot of no's. I'll spend 2 months or 3 months writing a proposal, and then for a corporate company, and then they just say, thank you and all the best for your future endeavors. And you need to read that letter or that response, or something, and you need to just take it. Sometimes you don't even get any response, but you still need to keep going. So find something that motivates you. But for me, it's definitely why my purpose. Find your purpose. Your business should be purpose driven. It should be bigger than yourself.
And what do you say? Okay, we're actually even at the end of the interview, but I just want to ask you this question. What do you think we can do better as a country or as a continent at large, especially to help like the upcoming entrepreneurs or people that aspire to be entrepreneurs and all that, just building those platforms?
I think the one thing that it's first, I think with the whole ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I think there's so much work that needs to be done in developing that entrepreneurial ecosystem. My lecturer would be very disappointed in me right now. We literally wrote an exam about the entrepreneurial ecosystem like 2 weeks ago. There's a lot that needs to still be done, but I think what was lacking when I started my business was somebody to tell me that you're going to fail and it's okay to fail, and with failure, all you need to do is you need to rise up. Don't get stuck in that rut. You need to get up and then you need to try again. I think we have a lot of entrepreneurs that aren't honest about their entrepreneurial journeys. Perhaps other people are having much lighter journeys. I mean, we don't all carry the same load. But I think we need entrepreneurs to really be authentic and honest in their story, to tell people that it's not gonna be easy. It's not all how do you say it, moonshine and roses. Yeah. There are gonna be bad days. And the beauty of this whole thing is that you don't just push through. When you're in a dark space, you need to push through to get out of it. So you need to remain resilient. That fortitude. I think they say entrepreneurs are born. I mean, it's something that you're born, and you're born with that fortitude, and you're born with that determination. You just need to activate it.
So thank you so much, Shiwa The Baker. So how can people reach out to you or get in contact with you as well?
So my social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter are at Shiwa The Baker. My orders for your beautiful bakes can be placed via email at kates@shiwathebaker.com, or alternatively you can reach our enterprise via WhatsApp on +264 811 461421. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shiwa The Baker. And we are looking we hope that you actually find, do they say fortitude? I'm not sure if I'm using the right word, but I'm sure like you said, whatever, you always remember what inspired you or what really drove you to start Shiwa The Baker and all that. So thank you so much, and we just wish nothing but the best for Shiwa The Baker and for you yourself as Shiwa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.